What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius War of the Visions review, and today we're talking about the Final Fantasy Tactics 2 characters in Orlandeau and Ramza. We'll also talk about that vision card I've been talking about, tell you guys what you should be using on them, if they're worth summoning, and then, how exactly you get the most out of those units. So let's get into it. So first up from the collab, we're going to talk about Ramza, and Ramza is going to be like that supportive attack or magic, kind of like medium tier damage, but very, very great support unit. Going to be kind of a bruiser, kind of tanky, can take a hit, not exactly a tank, but kind of somewhere in the middle. So not going to be that support type unit where you think I got to hide them in the back, they can't get into the fold. Ramza is actually going to have some ways in his stats that'll allow him to get into the middle of battle and do what he wants. He has some ranged attacks, and like I said, attack and magic to help him really kind of cover your ends there, but not excel extremely well when it comes to damage dealing, but does when it comes to support. We're going to scroll down and look at the Trust Mastery reward here. We have Ramza's Clothes, and Ramza's Clothes are going to give you 422 HP, critical evade 12, defense, and then also give you the ability to regain TP for an ally. Not the best TMR in the world, so I wouldn't be like fevering over getting him awakened and fully awakened and fully LB'd specifically for the TMR. Now, if you want him to be strong, you could do that, but the TMR is okay at best, and not the, you look at other TMRs and there are better ones for sure, the ability. Moving on down, we have his Limit Burst Ultima. So this is going to be, if you look at this attack type, and you'll see it in game, this means magic, and because it doesn't have a color associated with it, it means elementless. So it deals non-elemental damage, large, to a target area based on the caster's magic, and it is a guaranteed hit. Anytime something says guaranteed hit and has a nice range, as you can see here, it's going to be great. And that way nobody evades, because it really sucks to take a turn and they like dodge it off, and then it really puts you in a bad spot. And this is going to be able to do damage at a nice range, and again based off of magic. You're going to see where you're going to have to really decide building him, attack and magic, kind of like back in the day in FFBE with hybrid units. You really had to pick, maybe try to bolster both of them up to be good enough on the unit. So scrolling on down again, his 3 jobs are going to be Squire, Ninja, and then Spellblade, and we'll go over those. His Squire main command, so these are the things he could do mainly, are going to be Dawnblade, deals moderate damage to target, and Dawnblade's going to work kind of like Shuriken from my understanding. As you can see, Ramza's here in the middle. You can see the area that he can hit people is pretty large, and it's slashing damage, but you can see it's non-elemental. That might be light damage. I think it's non-elemental though. Light has a little bit of a yellow hue to it. So it's going to be like Shuriken. So this is going to work like the Shuriken would for a lot of units. And even though he has Ninja sub job, that's going to get the job done. So you don't really need to be running Ninja like you would on other units. He has Chant, which reduces his own HP to restore HP of someone else, so he has a little bit of a heal he can do while taking a hit on his own. Dual Break being one of his better abilities, deals heavy damage to target and reduces their attack and magic for 3 turns. So Ramza is also going to be a breaker, so if you have somebody up in the front that you were worried about, maybe a Stern or something like that, and Ramza goes in and breaks the attack and magic, that's going to take away some damage from Stern and actually do a lot of damage with Light versus Dark, and then also, calm the Stern down, because Sterns do a lot of damage when it comes to PvP. The best ability I think Ramza has is the Shout ability, increases attack, magic, and bravery for self and all allies within an area. So he's going to be able to buff everybody up. It looks like he's going Super Saiyan, and Shout and Ramza kind of go hand in hand, at least from my experience. So this is his best ability, and from what I've seen with the AI does cast this in early on in the battle, and around as many of your allies as it can. So very, very strong ability. One of the reasons why Ramza is pretty good. Looking at his triple attack, it's another one of the reasons. It deals moderate damage 3 times to a target. So 1, 2, 3. Great for chaining. Self chains, builds that light chain, builds that slash damage chain, and allows you to start getting some of those missions, or when you go and fight a raid boss and it's dark, it helps you build up that chain for all your raid party members. Very, very strong ability, and one that you'll look for quite often. So moving on down to the Squire sub-commands, support and reaction abilities, we have Stone Throw. So Mont is getting in there. I've heard that Zazin has it. I haven't messed with Zazin too much, but when the Stone Throw Club is happening, nobody likes that ability. Speaking of, we have Cheer here, and if you guys remember, Cheer is also an ability that Fina has, and it's going to work different than we see here with this bravery up here. This does not stay after battle. However, Cheer does. So Cheer is going to work like Fina. If you need to raise up bravery in battle and have it stick there, it's going to be like that. So I guess not faith, but for bravery, like Fina, though. So it's going to be for bravery. His JP boost increases JP earned in battle. So you're going to be able to go in and kind of like super slingshot him if you have this passive on to getting more JP. I don't highly recommend it too much, maybe in the early game to get his abilities unlocked. But then after that, it's kind of like a cute little passive from like a tactics way to look at it that, you know, maybe you'll use sometimes, but not quite often, I don't think. Counter tackle is a good counter move. Essentially going to counter chance of countering attack to knock the dude back, which is great. You know, give yourself some space, maybe knock the opponent back so one of your ranged people can hit him. I like it quite a bit. Next up, we have Yell, and compare this to Mont's TMR. It's going to be similar. Like Mont's TMR raises the agility. It says speed here, but it's agility, and you're going to be able to raise the agility of an ally up to 2 times, and have them take more actions. You know, move around the map faster. You know, they're taking more turns, so it's going to be very important and very, very good. But I don't think you're going to choose this as your sub command. And then he has move +1, but he has ninja, so you know you're going to be choosing the ninja passive. So next up is Spellblade, and this is the one most people go with. First off, we have a raises magic attack resist and dark resist passive. If you're going against a magic dark unit or dark units in general, you can throw that on. Situational, not an all-time use. He has Bioblade, deals M damage, and based on the magic stat, so this is when we're going to start seeing that magic in that Spellblade, and deals poison, which is cool. Raises magic attack resist for all allies within an area. So here's another big you know, good thing for Ramza, right? He has the ability of all those things we talked about buffing, and now can raise resist against magic, making your team a little bit less susceptible to those magic damage dealing enemies that you could go up against. Banish Blade and Banishing a Blade, these are going to be 2 of his damage dealing abilities from Spellblade. They're going to be doing light damage, one small and one heavy. One going to be costing more AP, obviously, and those are going to be like his bread and butter when it comes to him not using the triple attack or dual break. But most of the time, I think triple attack, dual break, they're going to be doing a lot of damage as well, and you really will have to look to put some tender loving care into his magic stat to make sure these 2 abilities hit for what you may be comfortable with, right? So again, Ramza's going to be there. He can do the damage, but he's going to be there for breaking, supporting, buffing, and doing mid-tier damage that you can really, you know, get behind a little bit, because you can take that hit to damage because of how much he's buffing up your team and supporting your team. Chance of damage reduction when taking magic attack. That's great if you're going against a really heavy magical team. You can throw that on. And then he also has this taunting spell, and it's going to do small damage, and then it's also going to taunt for 3 turns. So this is going to be something, again, I talked about Ramza being a bit tanky, which he is. He's not going to be your straight up tank, though. So he has this ability maybe to pop out if something goes dire, if your mage is getting attacked, can throw that taunting spell out, try to get it off, because he can withstand a couple of hits, and something to have in your back pocket, but not something you probably will use that often. Looking at the Ninja sub command, a lot of the time, Ninja's great for its passive abilities in the move and jump plus, and then here it's not listed, but I'm pretty sure he gets, again, I'm going off of a wiki. There, you know, the wiki's a little bit of a drought here right now with War of the Vision, but, and I'll link this down below. But he should have the agility and luck up one as well. So those are the 2 I would choose to put on Ramza, would be the move and jump one, because his movement and jump need help. And then also his, you know, having the agility and luck up are fantastic. He moves faster, takes his turn faster. That's good. Besides that, most of the time people want to go for Shuriken, but he doesn't need Shuriken because he has the ability we talked about up here, Dawn Blade, which works kind of like Shuriken. Because if we go click on Shuriken here real quick and load it up, you can see that it's the same. I don't know if you guys remember, this is Dawn Blade right here. So it's the same ability, but you don't have to switch off to like a side command for it. So if we look down at his resistances, he's good against slash, good against punchy punch damage. I don't know what you guys want to call it. Good against the good old pierce damage. And then we have 10% weak to magic damage. So that's something we have to worry about a little. This is range damage. I'm an idiot. This is Pierce. He's neutral against Pierce. This is shooty shoot damage. It's kind of tough though to look at him. I really need to stop calling them 3rd grade names and actually know what they are. But he's going to be a little bit weaker, but barely weaker when it comes to magic. While he has these nice, you know, when he gets in the face of people and he's kind of tanking, he has some resistances to help him there, except for when he's going against like a lance type unit. It'd be a little bit rough. So overall, again, the type of vision card or esper you want to put on Ramza is going to be one that boosts up slash damage, one that boosts up, because that's what he's mostly going to be doing, one that boosts up maybe for your team. He could take the hit, and because he is going to be a supportive ability, he could be wearing the vision card from tactics, boosting up his slash damage and also giving everybody agility. When it comes to espers, again, just look for a slash damage esper, an attack damage esper. If you want to build a more magic, look for a magic one. He's got very, very versatility there, but he's not going to excel like your other damage dealers, maybe like Stern or Frederica or Orlandeau, like we're going to talk about. But he still can get the job done. And I know a lot of JP players really love their Ramzas. And speaking of that, he's going to be easier to get his shards when it comes to between him and Orlandeau. It looks like the game is kind of pushing Ramza on you easier than they are doing with, like, or they know Orlandeau is the prize. So like, here's Ramza 2, and here's some like pity systems to get him. You can buy him in a bundle. Here are his shards. You can get a few more of them for free or easily buyable as compared to Orlandeau. So if you had to pick one or the other, one's a damage dealer. We'll talk about very, very strong, carry you for a long time, and one's a support unit. And what have we learned about support units in these gacha games? They live a long time. So very, very strong unit in Ramza, and he is the one I'm going to be choosing to go for, as I already have Frederica with Orlandeau. All right, guys, moving over to the big daddy, Orlandeau, the man of the hour. Most people are going to want to be summoning for Thunder God Sid, and he is going to provide you with a very sustainable, self-sustainable damage dealer that can push the damage really hard, can carry you through a lot of the content to come, but also has some limitations in his other types of abilities. So Orlandeau isn't going to be what you initially think. Like, I've got to get close. I've got to be right up on the target to be able to do damage. Orlandeau has a lot of range to him, so you're going to be surprised when you start looking at him and using him and his abilities, how much range, and maybe if you're against them, how much range he actually has with his abilities to be able to kind of, catch up to you quickly and then keep you at a range as he's chunking you down. We'll look at the Trust Mastery reward here. We have Radiant Mant, like Mantle, I guess. Going to be HP 362, Speed 5, so Agility 5, which is great. We want our Agility high, Defense 8, and has no ability. Grants barrier that increases the amount of damage taken. There it is. So grants a barrier that decreases the amount of damage taken, so it gives you a little bit of a barrier at the beginning of the fight, allowing you to stay alive a little bit better. I think it's great because of the speed, and giving you a barrier too sounds nice. High HP stat and everything like that. So I think because of the barrier ability with the speed, it is much better than, let's say, that Ramza TMR we just discussed. So I think a lot of people are going to be going for him. So his abilities, or his jobs, are going to be Sword Saint, Samurai, and Knight. Right off the bat, we're just going to write off Knight. I think it's between Samurai and Sword Saint when we come down to his sub job, his sub command. And I think a lot of people are going to be going with Sword Saint over the Samurai. The Samurai is going to be more of a sub job you're going to use when you want to buff yourself a lot more. Samurai has a lot more of that raise your crit, raise your attack, make you use a lot of your TP over your AP kind of stuff. And Sword Saint, you're just going to be going in there, busting them up and doing a lot of damage. His LB, the range you can see is here, so he's got some range on his LB as well, and it kind of like goes out like a cross, which is awesome. It's going to be slash thunder damage, deals damage L, so large to target. I wish they just had numbers. Why they, like my friend Cooley just always like, why are they doing t-shirt sizes for these freaking damage numbers? And bestows haste on himself, so it's a high AP cost, but when he gets this thing, pops this thing off, he's gonna do decent damage, and then he gets himself haste, and we know how important haste is with it buffing up that agility and making you take more turns and live longer. Looking at his main abilities here, we have increase own attack and negate blind, paralyze, and sleep for 3 turns. So you're going to be able to, stay away from those nasty status elements if you want, and increase your attack. Reduces defensive target for 3 turns and deals small damage. So armor crush, fantastic. Reducing the damage and then dealing damage afterwards actually is quite good. When you think about it, with the defense break and being able to pop out that damage, it's awesome. He also has Duskblade, which will reduce the TP, so it's like a TP drain. So he's going to reduce the TP and restore his own TP. So a little bit of a drain blade, but a dusk blade. Increase attack significantly and decrease resistances to all attack types to self. Thunder God. Hey, if you want to be doing more damage, you're going to have to take a little bit more hit to your defensive stats. I think this is a great one to throw on him. You want him to be swinging as hard as he can. Thunder God's great. Crush Helm deals moderate damage to the target and reduces max HP of the target for 3 turns. Also an awesome move. I mean, getting rid of their max HP could be, like, if you're going against a healer or something like that, reducing their max HP, or an enemy type in the PvE portion of the game. It's going to be quite useful for you guys, so I think it's very, very good. Auto Refresh has a chance to restore AP for self when damage is taken. phenomenal in my opinion, right? Like if you're low on AP and you have to end up auto attacking, if somebody hits you, you have a chance to put your AP up to do your big moves. I love this. I actually want to mess around with it so much. I wish more units had that. I like it a lot. Next up, we have War Sense. Increases maximum HP and jump +1. I'm not really feeling that one too much like I was with Thunder God. If it was move +1, maybe. I mean, it does make him a little tankier. It really will be situational and up to you if you want to use that, but I'm not feeling it too much. We have Shadow Blade, deals small damage to target and restores the amount of HP to self. So, one of his bigger abilities, right? This is what I'm talking about when I talk about a sustainable unit. How Orlandeau can carry your team. If he can cast Shadow Blade when he needs to, he can just be healing himself, sustaining himself, coming back up, and it can really be a pain in PvP if he ends up popping this off when you think you're finally almost got him down and he does the old Shadow Blade and his health goes back up and you're just like, oh no. So it's a very, very good ability. Crush Weapon, you guys probably all know what this does. Deals heavy damage to target and decreases attack, so he does have some breaks. And Divine Ruination deals moderate damage to units within an area, so it's going to be a little bit of AoE, and reduce resist to thunder for 3 turns. So goes back to our old FFBE days. We're going to lower down. It was light damage at FFB. We're going to lower down because we put Excalibur on him and all that kind of good stuff. But we're going to lower down the thunder resistance and deal moderate damage kind of in an area. So if you look at it here, you can see that it does it in a straight line one way or the other. So you're going to go in a straight line and reduce down that thunder resist, so you're doing even more damage to these targets. And again, as you saw with that, we're going to look at these different abilities. He does have range. I mean, look at this. This isn't just right in their face. These abilities have ranges to them, and it's absolutely blows my mind that he can be so, I wouldn't say so far away, right? He's not like a gunner or something, but the fact that he doesn't have to be right in your face to do these devastating attacks is quite scary and something I'm a little bit worried about when it comes to PvP. And like I was talking about with the samurai abilities, it's going to be a little bit different. He does have the meditation that's going to raise brave permanently, so just like the other samurais out there, he does have that. So if you need to raise brave in battle and you want to keep it on afterwards, he has Blade Soul, raises attack, evasion rate, and lowers defense. So this is the ability you're putting on with Thunder God, in my opinion. You're raising up that attack even more. You're hitting even harder. You are taking some more hits to your defense, but you are going to have a higher evasion rate, so you're hoping that procs. But when you hit, baby, you're going to hit hard. It's going to be great. Raises evasion chance of all allies within an area. Again, these are kind of like the... Again, if you go Samurai, it's more of the supportive abilities on your sub-command rather than the damage dealing or breaking, you know what I mean? We have Hind, deal smart damage to target. Illusion, again, we talked about raising the evasion rate. Third Eye, chance of raising Oda evasion rate for 3 turns while taking damage. So, can stack up to 3 times. I don't hate it, but I really, really like that AP chance, you know what I mean? The AP chance to go up when you get hit. So, you kind of have to decide which one of these you want to do. Do you want to be evading attacks, or if you get hit, do you want your AP to go up so you can stack them back even harder? Yeah, it's going to be up to you to decide between those. Deals damage L to targets within range and bestows machine and stone killer, so you may want to go with the samurai if you're going against a machine or stone monster. Raises own attack critical hit rate for 3 turns, so again, like I said, buffing yourself up. Deals damage S to targets within an area of self, and chance of inflicting blind. Night Veil is just going to be an ability that you could use. It's nothing too special. The blinding is okay. Looking at the Knight abilities, again, I just don't think this is where we're going to be going with Thunder God. I think we're going to be going with Thunder God said. I think we're going to be going with his main job as a sub-command as well, or go ahead and using the Samurai. Divine Healing raises his own max HP for 3 turns and recovers that amount of HP raised. Find yourself needing more healing, this is an option for you. Power Break will break the attack. Arm Break will disable. Divine Protection raises debuff resistance. There are too many other good ones before we use that. Trinity Break, now that's a great one, right? Deals M damage to target and lowers attack, magic, and agility for 3 turns. So Trinity Break, almost like if you need him to be like this breaker, this, you know what I mean? Like, I actually don't hate it because of the Trinity Break and the magic break you can see as we go down Speed Break. If you need him to be a debuffer, here you go. You're going to have his faith up a little bit so you can make sure he lands all these debuffs, but it's an option for you. He has max HP up. I don't think you're going to use that either. You want to raise his attack up. And then Sword Guard, chance of damage reduction when taking damage. I just don't think I'm going with that one. I like the AP one a lot. You can see that he does have some big weaknesses when it comes to magic, so be aware of that. If you're going against a magic damage dealer, Orlandeau will be taking harder hits from that, but he does have some resist, so some tankiness when it comes to slash damage. The other ones he's kind of whatever at. He does get hit a little bit harder from the ranged attacks. And then that's Orlandeau, guys. Again, as we've talked about, he's going to be devastating because he can sustain himself with the Shadow Blade. He can break you. He can buff up himself. He can hit from range, and you'll just learn that he does a lot of damage. You'll see how that ends up working out for you from a range for physical. For me, it kind of blows my mind, and I'm kind of a little bit worried to see him when it comes time in the arena or in Guild Wars. So what should I have on Orlandeau when it comes to vision cards or the the espers? So Ifrit comes to mind. We don't have Odin yet. Once Odin comes out, you can throw Odin on him as an esper and really get him beefed up. You're looking for slash damage, maybe some thunder attack up, some killers like Maneater, things like that for PvP reasons. When it comes to vision cards, the Echo Screams or whatever that one's called, the one that has Moraga on it, puts up slash attack. That's what you want for him. He's doing slash damage. That's pretty much his MO, is doing the slash damage, so you want that up. Or you could use, again, the one that will pretty much be able to be put on everybody is the vision card we're going to discuss after this, the Final Fantasy Tactics vision card that you can get. Absolutely bonkers. And then after that, you want to look for anything, give him some attack percent up, some slash damage up, all of that kind of stuff, some lightning damage, up. It's all going to help him with really going out and dishing that damage. Now, compared to Ramza, he's a super simple character. He runs forward and he does damage, and that's what he does. And his other things that he does is kind of on the side. He can break a little bit, I guess. He does the self-healing, but he is used as a damage dealer. So if you guys have been saving up, I hope the best for you guys for coming with Orlandeau. He is not going to disappoint you. A lot of people still love him to this day. When it comes to getting his shards, guys, I've talked about this in other videos, you need to be refreshing the shop when it comes to limited time units. So I'm talking about refresh for free, refresh for 10, refresh for 50 every day after today, after you get Orlandeau, after you get Ramza, until you get them where you want. LB3 will unlock all the abilities on their ability board for you. LB4 will allow you to equip a TMR ability, or a piece of equipment, to the unit, and then LB5 will just be used for stats and levels. So gonna be up to you on how hard you want to go. It was a little bit more dire when we didn't know that they do return later. There is another Final Fantasy Tactics event happening in JP right now where Orlandeau and Ramza return. So you have to tell yourself or ask yourself how far you're going to go, and best of luck with that. So we're going to move on to the vision card now. So the vision card you guys are going to be able to pick up while hopefully you guys just get it easy, because that's what I'm going with, dude. I want to get this card, and then if Ramza is a nice side piece, I'll definitely be working on him. But the Wheel of Beowulf, I hope I'm saying that right. I really suck at saying any kind of words in this language ever. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to give you guys slash attack up on the individual unit. And you guys know how many people love to use slash attack units. It's going to be fantastic. The party ability is also amazing. Agility up, a percent of agility up for your entire party. Everybody's going faster. Everybody's having their turn taken, higher up in the turn order, and just taking more actions means moving around, doing more damage. And as we level it up, if you guys can get to 99, listen, my plan is to get one and be done. I'll do it would be awesome if I got more than one, but I'm fine with one. Level it up the best I can. At 99, though, slash attack plus 10. And in this game, guys, don't be looking at this plus 10 and thinking it's nothing. The way this game works, that plus 10 is a lot. It's very beneficial. And then agility plus 15%. So you can see it goes from 3 to 10 and then from 4 to 15%, which is actually quite a bit if you do get it leveled up. It's going to be so hard because it is a UR card. It's going to be rare. It's going to be as rare as Orlandeau or Ramza when it comes to summoning. I think it's like 2% to get it. But it's definitely one that will be good forever. Like, until they release something that gives you higher, because when are you not going to need slash attack up on some unit and then your whole party have agility up? It's never going to be bad. It's going to be awesome. So best of luck to everybody going forward. I'm definitely going to at least try to get one copy. If there are shards of it in the shop, then go for that. It seems pretty interesting. So I want to close off by talking about limited time banners. Guys, if we look at it from a standpoint of, are limited time banners worth it ever? I'm going to say no. I don't think they are. The fact that after the limited time banner is gone, we have to wait anywhere from 5 to 6 months to try to get their shards again, to try to level them up if we get unlucky and don't have enough Visior to get their shards. You can't even farm their shards like you can the other unit. So I know you guys are pumped and you're going to be summoning, and it's awesome, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just saying what, the best course action is if we all just took our eyes off nostalgia, didn't care how cool they looked, and went down the path, right? Because let's say you pull Medina, you can farm Medina shards on those hard mode quests from now until the game's over. You can't do that with these limited time units. When Warrior of Light comes out, when they start releasing all these other, I have something going on with my lip, apologize about that. but you're not going to be able to do those things with those units, and that adds up quickly, right? And that will add up to you getting that LB3, that LB4, that LB5 on those non-limited time units. So it's going to be up to you guys. Have fun, do what you want, enjoy the game. But overall, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, do you really need it? That's up to you. But the banner is awesome. I'm going to be pulling tonight, 7 p.m. EST on my stream, and I hope to see you there. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions to what I said. I hope you guys get your Ramza or Orlandu like you would like. Subscribe to me here on YouTube for future War of the Visions content. Follow me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Claic Yuzolt, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.